guys, Dandelion here, and this has been on my mind about the Philadelphia train wreck, this one picture and this red fire engine, and I've just been doing some numbers having to do with bride and groom, and I found out that bride matches fire in the English and the simple gematria. So for this to be a red fire truck, so red equals 9. I don't know what fire truck is, I didn't do that, but here in the back of this, and you'll also notice if you watch these, and I don't watch television, I usually watch YouTube channels that harvest the news and then they decode it. I usually get it on the first level or second level of decode. But I wanted this one, this was when I very first started looking at things, and I actually was able to give this hint to Zachary K. Hubbard about the 134th number on this fire engine, and on this day of the wreck it was 134 days till 9/23. So that's not just and it's covered up here with live, and I'm sure that means something, but I didn't gematria live, or if I did I don't remember, but so anyway, this is 134 days until 9/23. Well, then I was just thinking about bride and groom kind of things, and of course 618 and 816, because that has to do with bride and groom. And then I realized that 34, if you multiplied 34 by 2, this would be a 168. So then I thought, oh my gosh. So then and then also the other idea that made me think that, there was this guy, so we have the red and the blue here. This guy's wearing a blue shirt on the inset. I don't know if you can see this. Let me see if I can zoom in here to the inset for you. So this guy's standing here pretending like he's not on set. They're like, okay, you're an extra. You're going to put this shirt on and stand over here and act like, you know, make it look like this isn't a set. He's like, okay. So he made $90 this day probably. So this shirt is the mirror image and the opposite color of the truck. Well, you could add them together and you would have a 177, so that would be the way. And I will also run that number of days forward from this day, but I'll show you I ran twice this, in case this was just a twice. It's hard to know what the code is, you know, do they want you to, what do you need to do? But so I did find something interesting if I ran 168 days forward from the day of the Philadelphia crash. So I wanted to show that to you. Alright, so let's just first make a stop here on the Wikipedia. I was just thinking while I was here, I was thinking, wouldn't it be so great if we had like a code Wikipedia where all of the code breakers on YouTube, you know, wrote what we found on these, because they don't have a picture of the fire engine over here, and they really, really should. So this is May 12th. Just really quick, there's a 238 here, and you might think, huh, why is there not a 239? Well, that's the Colell rule, for one thing. But in all of these numbers of broken and injured, the train itself wasn't included. And it was also an 8. It was a car, the engine plus 7 cars. And I do think that the train here was an entity. It was, I believe, the United States, actually, the U.S. as a 40. U.S. adds up to 40, and it was the U.S. coming off the rails by Delaware. And it had a head wound, and the passengers talked about a head wound, and it had an eye put out, which I've shown in my other video, and it had a 106 on each of its corners of its head, and they changed their miles per hour a lot. I have videos where they talked all day, maybe for 2 days, about 106 miles per hour, and now they changed it to this. Well, that just shows they might be getting a little nervous about people who aren't drinking enough fluoride. This was 160. So anyway, the train was being, you're going to think I'm crazy, but there's a Ninja Turtle clip done by Renee M. in which the train actually chases the Bride of Christ, who is a turtle. So, and they have all the 923 numbers in there. But in there, the train has horns on its head too that looks exactly like the hieroglyphs of the worm in the Pharaoh hieroglyphs. So here, this would be 239 if you count the train. The train wasn't a passenger. Well, anyway, on to what I was going to talk about. So here's our date, May 12th. This is 5/12, 5/12/8, or 538. So we're going to put that in here, and then add 168 days, according to the reasoning that I had before. Now, if you just add 134, let's do that. Oops. You come to Wednesday, which is also a 9/23. You cannot make this up, you guys. See the 23 and the 9? So it comes to that day. This is also, I wasn't making videos at the time when I was studying this, but this is also a certain proximity of the birthday of Israel and the announcement by the French Prime Minister. This was a special day. So anyway, if we put in 168, I don't know if I'm finding anything worth mentioning, but I wanted to bring it to you because this is 10, 9, 8. And we know they love their countdown numbers. Most of their countdown numbers start on a 3. They also love their count up numbers, like fireworks is 1, 2, 3. And conspiracies, 1, 2, 3. And so we need to pay attention to the countdowns and the count ups. Well, this is their Bride of Christ. This is, I guess you would say, an anagram of the Bride of Christ number, and an anagram of Phi, and an anagram of Phi backwards. So I just wanted to show you that. And I also was over here, one of the reasons why one of the 40 numbers, which means that this train is the U.S., is right here in the coordinates. You know, when they did a lot of calculations before they placed the bomb. And they had to increase the speed. At first they reported a low speed, and then they realized no one was going to fall for that because the devastation was much more than just coming off the track. So it was probably a bomb. But they placed it in a very precise place because look at these numbers. So this is a 15 over here. And then kind of like a 64, you could say, or the 40 is the U.S., but you could see this as a 46 and a 64, and we've been looking at those numbers lately. So there are more. This is a 12, and this is a 14. So it's a 26, and that's another 8. So there's 3 8s right there. So maybe that, and you know, that would tie into your 618. And your 816, because we've seen them use those anagrams in the dates. So I just wanted to point out that number, I guess it might be hard to see because the box is right there. That number is, let me move it up farther. I know we have things on the end of this. This date has the 888 in it. I mean, not this date, it's coordinates. Besides kind of showing that this is the U.S. And see, they left a lot of space here. You know, I think almost to anybody this would kind of pop out. Here, just right on this other side, is a 5, 10, 5, like a 55 gateway. And I've talked before about 55 as your boom, 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 your snake number, alarm number, quake number. In the simple gematria, and here they could be using that as a gateway because this was definitely a boom, boom, boom type of happening. Okay, well, I didn't want to go on too long about this. Everybody knows about the time here. They haven't backed off on that even a little bit. So here's where they kind of show you that the train is supposed to be in this number. It's the top 2. If I gematria this and I gematria this, I bet you we're going to find Bride of Christ numbers in there. There were 8 deaths to go with the 888. See, I think they're actually trying to pollute these 888 numbers. They want you to think of these 8 numbers as dark and dismal, when actually I think that the 8, the 88, and the 888 are actually positive evolution sort of, you know, Christ numbers, the Bride of Christ in a celebratory or a positive type of thing. You know, it's supposed to be a joyful thing, right? A wedding. And that the bride of Christ would be ready, and this would be a joyful thing. So I think that these numbers are supposed to be joyful, and they just want to, you know, jump up and down on all the joy with their stilettos. You know, you can kind of picture them over in Bohemian Grove, jumping up and down on the joy in their stilettos. All right, I'd like to have some little bit of humor thrown in there. These guys are wacko, you guys. I hope that talking about this brings a little levity or a little ease of coping. I think this is a 7, the way that this was bent. They don't have all the cool pictures that I have here, but they do tell you that this was 601. All right, well, I'm going to try to keep this a short video, but I wanted to show you what I found about, let me look at the date again here. Where did my thing go? Oh, October 27th, which would be 10/9/8. And I don't know what they're planning, but I'm going to guess it's connected to Philadelphia and the train wreck, maybe another train. I'm not sure, but I just wanted to show this to you. And then also, you can, if you like to do these kind of things, you could add this to your, I have a little tool folder on my toolbar where I have a lot of, you know, gematria, you know, different websites. And this is called, I can't lift it up to show you, but it's www.easysurf.cc/n-date1.htm. All right.